Yo, welcome back to my channel. If y'all don't know, this channel called Antler React Things Daily. Today we got a video of why you being a time traveler would be useless. So, if you're new, make sure to subscribe, leave a like, and comment something. But without further ado, let's get right into the video.
If you were suddenly dropped into the past. We all like to imagine that with our modern education and knowledge of history,
If you were suddenly dropped into the prehistoric times with the times of the dinosaurs and all these cavemen, what was the first thing would you do? Like, would you go look for a dinosaur, or would you go find a cave or something to live in? Or would you just KO? Because you don't think you can survive. Y'all let me know.
we'd be like Ash from Army of Darkness, immediately revolutionizing society, inventing electricity 200 years early, and being hailed as a genius.
Okay, but so really, the thing about that is, the thing about people be like saying like, oh, we had invented all this stuff early. You don't know how to do that now. So how you gonna invent like electricity and this, that, and the third, but you don't even know how to do that now? So, you feel me?
Truth is, most of us would be utterly embarrassingly useless.
Yeah.
Despite having smartphones in our pockets with access to all human knowledge, most of us can't actually do much without modern infrastructure. We know things exist, but we don't know how to make them or even how they fundamentally...
Like I just said, a lot of people just know it exists, don't know how to make it, don't know how it even was thought of, not even a history behind it, you know?
work. So the first reason you'd be useless in the past is the enormous gap between knowing something exists and knowing how to create it. Sure, you know smartphones exist. You might even know they contain transistors, microchips, and lithium batteries. But could you actually build one from scratch?
This is not even part of the video. If y'all got a girlfriend and she 5'3", put her on the roof. Cause I'm gonna do my girlfriend, I'm gonna leave her on the roof. Since she wanna talk since she wanna make faces and stuff while I make my reaction video, put her little ass on the roof.
Know how to extract lithium from the earth? Could you create a microchip without modern manufacturing facilities? Of course not.
See,
I mean, what?
I'm gonna say no to all this. I don't know how to do nothing that he's talking about. So if I got dropped into prehistoric times, I just have to live like them. I ain't inventing nothing. Probably fire, if the fire wasn't thought of yet. If I got dropped into a time before fire, you know. But other than that, useless.
What did Carl Sagan say about baking an apple pie from scratch? You gotta start with creating the universe. Most of our knowledge depends on vast infrastructure that took centuries to develop. We understand things at a consumer level, but not a creator level. This means that while you could tell people about amazing technologies from the future, you couldn't actually help them build any of it.
Right.
Okay, and then even if we handwave the language issue, let's say you speak the language of whatever time period you land in what geographic region, but you'd still be faced with enormous cultural barriers. Modern speech is filled with references, idioms, and concepts
That's what I was just saying.
simply wouldn't exist yet. Imagine trying to explain something being like a broken record to someone who's never seen a record player, or saying something went viral to someone who doesn't understand
That's what I'm saying. That's what I was saying. Like, how does our speech, like, because back then they didn't talk how we talk right now. So like, how did our speech develop? Like, who thought of these words? Who's the first person to think of these words that I'm saying right now? And why did everybody decide to stick with those? You know what I'm saying?
From theory. Our entire way of thinking is shaped by modern concepts. We think in terms of electricity, digital information, global communication, frameworks that wouldn't exist in pre-industrial societies. You'd constantly be reaching for metaphors and explanations that make zero sense to your audience. And that's before we even get to social norms. The way we interact with others today would be considered anywhere from bizarre to criminally offensive in most historical periods. Your casual attitude towards authority figures alone might get you imprisoned or worse. Imagine saying R.I.P. Bozo to a fallen monarch in the past.
Yeah, a lot of even a lot of movies and stuff, like you could just tell, like whoever was the leader of the pack or whatever you want to call it, you couldn't just talk to them. Like, you had to talk to him, them. It's still like that today, but you can't just say anything like off the internet. And then like today you could just say stuff on the internet and then nobody be able to figure out who you is. But back then, if you was popping it, they gonna find you. Just like those people that live in them tribes today, like they got leaders and stuff, and you can't just talk to them any type of way.
What would happen to you? The truth is, you wouldn't come off across as a sophisticated time traveler from the future. You'd probably seem like some babbling madman with no practical skills and just bizarre ideas. You know, another thing is that modern humans are remarkably fragile compared to our ancestors. We've been protected by modern medicine, sanitation, and food safety standards our entire lives. If you were dropped into medieval Europe, you'd immediately be exposed to dozens of pathogens your immune system has never...
I would, if I got dropped into this one, man, you might as well just, cause all of them, what's it called? Like, you know what I'm trying to say. I forgot the word, but all of that at the medieval Europe time and this, that, and third, bro, you might as well just give it up, bro. Like, cause
ever encountered. Meanwhile, the
Plague,
locals have
that was the
been
word,
building
plague.
resistance to these diseases their entire lives. You might be taken out by what they consider a minor seasonal illness.
Right.
And this works both ways. I mean, you're a walking biohazard to historical populations. You might be carrying microbes that your body handles fine, but could devastate an unexposed population. Think about Columbus and all of them, and even the fall of the Aztecs and the like. Congratulations, you just became a one-person plague vector.
Have y'all ever thought about like not the Aztecs, but them back then and how they wrote about their lives and stuff, and how we know about it now? Have you ever thought about the theory, like, what if somebody just randomly just made all of that up? Like, just made all of that past history up. Like, I thought about that in history class before. I was just like, what if somebody just made all this up? Like, you know what I'm saying? And none of these people actually existed and did what they said they did, and this, that, and the third. Or they was just some random person. Like, I always think about that. What if history was back then was just made up? As far as the Aztecs and the Empire and Roman Empire and all that type of stuff.
And then there's your physical condition. Unless you're regularly doing physical, intense labor, you're probably not going to be ready for the daily workload of pre-industrial life. Farming, blacksmithing, construction all require significant physical strength and endurance that most modern humans just don't have.
It is a proven thing. I think humans back then used to be way bigger than humans are now. Like, they used to grow taller, be stronger, have more muscle mass and bones, thicker and all that type of stuff.
Even something as basic as walking everywhere would be a shock to a lot of people. People regularly walk 20 plus miles a day when necessary. I mean, how's your endurance looking? You know, even traditionally respected professions like medicine would be severely limited. A modern doctor without antibiotics, anesthesia, imaging technology, or even basic sanitation would be working with one hand tied behind their back.
But a really, really good doctor would do really, really well.
Some of you might be thinking, well, I could teach them about germ theory or basic physics, but would you really explain it well enough to be useful? Most of us understand these concepts at the surface level based on what we learned in school. But could you derive the mathematical formulas for momentum?
So, like, what I never understood is, if you ain't want to be no doctor, why do you have to learn this bullshit in school? Like, I don't care. Like, now, I don't use none of this math shit that I learned in school. Like, I know how to count money, and I know how to read. You feel me? That's all you need to learn how to do. All this extra stuff, unless you going to college and pursuing your type of degree and whatever you want to do and involve all this, I don't need this shit. This something was useless.
Could you explain exactly why hand washing prevents disease transmission at a microbiological level? Let's be honest, most of our knowledge is just awareness that something exists and not a very visceral understanding of how or why it works. The truth is that most of us would struggle severely if transported to the past. Our knowledge is built on generations of accumulated science and technology.
Imagine if you got dropped into the time where they had like kings and queens and stuff like that, and you was telling them all this stuff. They'd think you a witch or something like that, and they'd probably behead you. That stuff would be crazy.
That we take for granted. We know that things work, but rarely how they work from first principles. This realization should actually give us more appreciation for human history. Each generation built upon the last, creating the foundation for our modern world, on some Avatar The Last Airbender vibes. No single person, not even a time traveler with a modern education, could replicate centuries of human innovation and discovery alone. The true genius
Are
is...
people today still trying to invent time traveling? Like, is there like active people trying to invent a time machine or something like? You feel me? Like, cause I do not think that we should do that. Because what if you go there and bring something back you're not supposed to bring it back?
Were the people who advanced human knowledge without having Google or LLMs
again.
to help them. If you found this thought experiment type interesting, hit that subscribe button for more content like this, and let me know in the comments, what specific skill or knowledge do you possess that might actually be useful if you were sent back in time?
Well, like you said, let me know what skill that you possess that might be useful back in time. But if you enjoyed that video, make sure you subscribe, leave a like, and comment something. If you want to watch this video without me pausing, because it was a really interesting video, I'm going to leave a link to the video in the description. But until next time.